My name is Zara. I'm from Uzbekistan. I came to United States 3 years ago and now I'm a student here. I like many things in the United States. I like people here, I like diversity, I like opportunities, but there is one thing I don't like at all. It's food. Food in the United States is just a disaster. It's a national tragedy actually, because it tastes terrible. Actually, it doesn't have any taste. For me, it tastes like plastic or paper, and you can imagine how those things taste. The reason why I can say this is because I'm from Uzbekistan, which produces very delicious, organic, natural food. All our food is organic, and it really tastes very delicious. That's why I can compare. The reason why food doesn't taste good anymore is probably because they don't produce it naturally anymore, and there are a lot of chemicals in the soil nowadays, such as pesticides, herbicides, and much more. Also, they produce food in the United States. They grow it all year round without letting the soil to relax and restore itself. And moreover, they produce genetically modified food. All the seeds, fruits, vegetables, they're genetically modified, which totally just changed the nature of the products. It changed its structure, its taste, and it doesn't taste like it should be anymore. And they add also chemicals. After that, they add preservatives, artificial flavors, artificial colors, and many other artificial things and chemicals. Therefore, the food is just totally destroyed. And when I eat it here, I'm able to taste, if there is some taste, I'm able to taste those chemicals. I even sometimes smell it, while lots of Americans, they don't taste any chemicals. They are quite okay with what they eat, maybe because they grow up eating this, they eat this from childhood, they're used to it, they don't know anything different. So it's not only not tasty, the food here, but also very harmful because of those chemicals, first of all. And the whole world, many countries know about American food and how harmful it is for people's health. And that's why maybe when they try to export the food from United States to Europe, like meat and milk and other products, there was a protest in Europe against importing American food. But the sad thing is that this kind of food makes American people very sick. It's a very high rate of such diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart attacks, strokes in the United States. During my just 3 years of living here, I, for example, heard many stories around me of people becoming sick with cancer. It's just everywhere here. I've heard from my friends, I've heard from my neighbors, from friends of my friends, that somebody is sick, and it's almost every month I hear some stories like that about cancer, and I don't think it's normal, because during my 30 years in Uzbekistan, I've heard only one story of a person, and it was not even my close person, who got cancer.
A new study shows that people who eat more highly processed foods have a higher risk of cancer. Now we're going to be talking about some of the worst offenders, and I didn't find this surprising, but I'm glad the research is now out there. It looked at 104,980 adults, found a 10% increase in ultra-processed foods in a person's diet was correlated with a 12% higher risk of cancer. Chew on that for a minute.
Right.
Consistently, the more processed a food, the more processed, the higher your risk. Dr. Funk, you live in a world where obviously you're constantly talking with people about cancer risk. What was your takeaway from this study?
Well, I love the study. See, the problem with processed food is not only that the ingredients list is unpronounceable and unknowable and clearly not healthy because it's largely chemical, but what you've done to create it is you've divorced a food. Let's just take an apple. You've pulled away everything nutritious and valuable, fiber, vitamins, minerals, and these phytonutrients that run around and fight inflammation and cancer in your body.
Even when you're trying to eat healthier in the United States, it's not easy because the healthier food, which is called organic, is much more expensive than non-organic, and most of Americans just cannot afford it. Most cannot afford to eat organic every day, and this is not right, because even if to compare it with my country, we have organic everywhere, and it doesn't have different price because it's organic everywhere, and moreover it's pretty cheap, and regardless how much money you do, everybody can afford organic food in Uzbekistan. This fact already even affected the way the people look in the United States. When I see the old records of, let's say, some events in United States, like concerts, I can see how people look different at that times. They were taller, they were looking healthier, and they were even more beautiful. While nowadays they are suffering from obesity, or they are short, or they kind of different nowadays. They don't look honestly as good as before. And my American friends also agree with that themselves. But why so much chemicals are in the food in the United States? Just recently I read that FDA, which is Food and Drug Administration of the United States, which is responsible and supposed to control the manufacturers of food in the United States, about what they put into food, about how they produce it. This organization actually does not even require these manufacturers to test the new additives which they put into food. Therefore, of course, those manufacturers, they just put wherever they want, in whatever amount they think probably is appropriate. Of course, they try to make some researches so that not to kill someone right away and not to be responsible for it, but they don't think about the long perspective and about how harming they are the health of people, of the whole nation. And when they are not responsible, and they will think like a businessman only about money, and they will put whatever they need to put to make the food look beautiful, look good for on the shelves, and to extend its shelf life. But they will not think about people, of course. They will not think how they feel after they eat this food. They don't think if they will get any diseases or not. But since products are not delicious here, I would advise to buy food from farms in the United States, and I do this myself since I live here. And I mostly go to Long Island farms, but there are also many farms in upstate New York and many farm markets in the city. Also, these farms can just deliver all the products you want from them to your house, right to your door. So this is actually not a problem. And I tried that food, farm food, and I really can say that it's much more delicious than supermarket food. It's just like day and night. The difference is very big. After farm food, I really can't eat supermarket products.
So this is just one of the farms where I go sometimes to buy milk in Long Island. It's a small one, and I usually buy goat milk because as you can see, they are grown up in natural conditions. They have some grass, sun and fresh air, which means that their milk is really healthy and rich of nutrients, real natural nutrients. And moreover, it's the fact that goat milk is more appropriate for human body, because goat has almost the same weight as human. That's why its milk is better structured for human body rather than the cow milk, because cow is too huge, and its milk is structured for cow's baby, which is 140 pounds, and that's why it's too strong for human body. And yeah, but still you can see that they have the cows also, and it's natural, and happy animals in farms. Happy animals give healthier food. What I also like here is that you can really pet animals, feed them. You're allowed to do it in the farm. So it's very important to know where your food comes from, and like wildlife farms that you can just come right to their backyard and see yourself that this food is really natural, and also you can enjoy interacting with animals.
I believe Americans deserve better food. They deserve to be healthy, and they deserve to be respected by those manufacturers of food. But for this, Americans first of all should take care of their health and of their food themselves, and be more demanding and ask their government, those agencies and those organizations to provide them with better food.
With what I know today about the extensive misuse of chemistry on a global scale, I cannot conjure up good dreams for the future. I have only bad dreams. Yet I want the world to be cleaner and to be kinder to each child that is born. I often wonder what makes me keep digging. I'm going to cry already. But I also realize that in the process of dehumanizing mankind with man-made chemicals, we are also producing individuals who will never understand the need to protect what is natural, to protect our life support systems. Individuals who will never see the beauty and the mystery in the birth of a new baby, or the bursting forth of foliage and a food crop in the springtime. There is also hope that deep within everyone, there is something bigger and stronger than we are aware of at this time that cannot be suppressed by man-made chemicals. Something that will prompt some very exceptional leadership to step forward with the courage to turn off corporate control of the government and the world and take back for society what it needs to thrive.